Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Immigration Real Talk. I'm Anthony Ray, your host here on the Ray Law International channel. Good evening again to all of those people in the U.S. Hopefully you guys had a great Monday and Tuesday. I did. I'll give you a little update of where I was. Good morning to everyone I don't know what Wednesday's like, but in Asia, good morning. Hopefully you guys are off to a great start and having a wonderful day. And good early morning to those in Europe and Africa. 皆さんおはようございます。6月15日ですね、朝。日本はどうでしょう？いい天気かな？みんな良い夏過ごすように、願っています。Anyways, everyone, thank you for joining us. Feel free to give us a shout out of where you are at, whether you're in the States or in another country. Remember, this is your time to ask questions. I have some things that are prepared, but your questions are a lot more important. And we really want to reach out and help those people and get some answers, Sometimes we spend so much time on Google searching for answers, and it really doesn't fit our case. But here's your opportunity. So go ahead and let us know. Put a comment of where you're calling from or where you're listening from in the comment section. And then also, if you have questions, problems, concerns, and then as always, we want to acknowledge, the success stories that are out there. Whether you just got naturalized recently, we have like a ton of clients who are getting naturalized last month and this month. It's at least 10 to 20 people getting naturalized. It's so awesome because they're taking that final step. Some people have been in this process for a couple decades. And just to get to that final step to be called a U.S. citizen, and it's just great to hear the stories of what people have been through, but what they more importantly have overcome. There's a lot. So today, as I mentioned in the description, we're going to touch on naturalization questions. I'm going to start with those today because last time we didn't really get to them. So we're going to start with those today. We're going to hit on one really interesting fact about asylum for Afghanistan people from Afghanistan. You guys tell me in the comments what's the proper title for nationals of Afghanistan. And then finally, we're going to round it out with H-1B cap cases, folks. We are getting close to June 30th. And if you don't have your H-1B filed, if you were selected, we're going to talk about what you should be doing or what you should be telling your attorney to do, and kind of what we do here at Ray Law International. So, hey, everyone. Please jump in anytime with any questions that you have. We're going to start off with naturalization questions, you guys. So the way that I would like this to work is, hey, I'm going to put the question up there, and then I want to give you guys a few minutes to type in your answer to see if you guys are close, if you guys can do this. Remember, there's 100 questions that foreign nationals, green card holders are required to remember in order to be prepared for their test. Now, when they get to the civics test, they don't have to memorize they don't have to answer all 100 questions. They just need to get 60%. That's it, 60% out of 10. So most immigration officers, not all, but most immigration officers will select 10 questions. And then as soon as you get 6 correct, you're done and you move on to the rest of your interview and examination with the immigration officer. Now, a lot of people, I know we're not touching base on this, maybe in another one we'll touch base on this, is the English test. If your English is average or pretty good or native, don't worry about it. You don't need to really practice for it. It's very simple. It's simply what a kindergarten or first grader could pass. I've seen sentences like, I went home from school, or and then you write it out and then you read the same sentence and that's it. You know English. The standard for your English level is really low, but we'll talk about that next time. Let's get into our questions. So the first question we have here is on the screen. What are two cabinet level positions? Anyone out there? Don't want to be like Ferris Bueller. Bueller. Now, there's a lot of cabinet level positions, and when we get new presidents every 4 years, sometimes eight, it always takes time because there's this whole list of cabinet positions that need to be filled. And if you're not aware, these individuals heads the whole governmental department, whether it's anyone have any clues? Can you give me two cabinet level positions? I'm ready to talk about this, but I don't have any responses. Okay. So one of the cabinet, I mean, there's a ton, but one is the Secretary of Energy. That's a big one as we talk about energy and gas prices going up. So there's been someone appointed by the president and approved by Congress for them to hold that role and to run that whole department. I kind of think is very stressful, but hey, um, a lot of people want that power. They want a lot of that attention, and it can lead to better things in the future. Another one is the Department or the Secretary of Education. Heading our education. Now, the U.S. is very different from many other countries where there's a national education. Everyone in the whole country studies the same thing. We like to divvy it up. Each state has their own way of teaching and educating. So, depending on where you're at, you're going to get a different education than someone else in a different state, or actually, to be honest, even in a different county within that state, depending on the resources that are available. Now, those are just two of the many. I mean, there's agriculture, defense, health and human services, veterans affairs. It just goes on and on. I mean, just at first glance, there's like 15, between 15 and 20 different cabinet level positions. And all these people report to the president. It's crazy. Having one or two people report is enough, but having that many people report is a lot. Let's go to the next question. Come on, guys, put those answers in the comments below. What does the judicial branch do? Easy, right? Come on, guys. What does the judicial branch do? Now, there's a couple. Anybody? Well, first of all, they review the laws, they explain the laws, and then there's a couple, they resolve disputes, and it also decides if the law goes against the Constitution. And we have actually this month, we're going to have a decision from the Supreme Court regarding Roe v. Wade. And that is a hot topic right now. So this is, what the judicial branch does. Reviews laws, explains laws, resolve disputes. Here's a dispute, disagreement, and decides if a law goes against the Constitution. So these are things that our court system here in the U.S. does. All right, next one. Hopefully you guys are doing good. I'm not seeing any answers in the comment sections. What is the highest court in the United States? Come on. We just talked about this a few seconds ago. Hopefully you guys know. Put your answer in the comments below. The answer is going to be the Supreme Court. Now, it's interesting, though, when you go to the state level, different states have different terminologies for their court levels. So for some states, the highest court in that state is the Supreme Court, whereas others, the Supreme Court is the introductory or the lowest court. So that's something very unique. Each of the 50 states has their own system, which is the reason why a lot of attorneys, if you're practicing state law, you're licensed in that particular state because each state does everything different. I don't know the laws in, Idaho, but, Idaho has their own laws regarding family law and, various things, businesses. So each state has their own laws, but here, the highest is the U.S. Supreme Court, they should be in the news in the next less than 15 days when they make a release of what they're going to do with Roe v. Wade. All right, next one, couple more, and then we'll switch to our next topic. Come on, guys. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. Okay, what are our amendments to the Constitution about who can vote? Okay, anybody? Any comments? Nobody. Okay, so a couple of the answers. Citizens 18 years or older can vote. Before that wasn't the case. We had to amend our Constitution to add that on. You do not have to pay poll tax to vote. You are free to vote. We don't have to pay money. Now, we pay taxes, which indirectly pays for the services, but in order to vote, I, as a U.S. citizen, don't have to pay any premium, and that was added to the Constitution. Also, any citizen can vote. Okay? Any citizen can vote. Men and women can vote. Now, there are some other restrictions out there by the states. We're not going to get into that right now. It came up in the last election with Florida. If you have a felony or a criminal background, are you still able to vote? That's a contentious matter. Also depends on the state. Each state's different. And male citizens of any race can vote. That was interesting. So male citizens of any race. So those were the 4 amendments that were amended to the Constitution as it relates to voting. All right. And all you have to do is describe one of those. So choose one. Remember 18 and describe, 18-year-olds can do that. And we have a couple more and then we'll keep going. What do we show loyalty to when we pledge allegiance? Say that a couple times. You can see it's been a long day, guys. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, anybody? All right, the United States and the flag. That's when we do our Pledge of Allegiance here, and we usually do that in school. And next question. What is one promise you make when you become a U.S. citizen? Now, there's a number. If anyone out there naturalized can answer this question, nobody. One is to give up loyalty to other countries. Now, this begs the question of, hey, can I have dual citizenship? And the U.S. policy is basically if the other country recognizes dual citizenship, then the U.S. will likewise. So U.S., Canada, you can hold both nationalities or both citizenships of both countries. Now, be careful. We're just talking about citizen. That's like really at a high level. That's just like, hey, if I want to get a passport from Canada and the U.S., I can get a passport. But what is more important to people is, how does that impact my taxes, my benefits, health insurance, all these other things? Those are more complicated. And, holding dual citizenship really doesn't make much of a difference. The best thing at the lower level when you're dealing with those, day-to-day things. Mainly the benefit of dual citizenship is having 2 passports, and with certain passports, such as a Japanese passport, you can get into other countries without a visa easily. Whereas with other passports, you may be limited from getting into certain countries. So with or without a visa. So those are some of the benefits. So a couple other promises is to, support the military, be loyal to the U.S. Those are some of the promises you make when you become a U.S. citizen. And it's a really moving time. It's a great time to be there with family and friends as you celebrate after years of going through this immigration headache to get there to the final end. So next topic we have is asylum. Now, this was an interesting one. And it's really, sometimes as attorneys, we get a little too technical, and I don't want to get too technical today, but I want to keep it simple. So the nice thing about the exception regarding asylum is The USCIS has said they're going to treat parole as an extraordinary circumstance. Okay? So, what does that mean? What that means is under asylum, the main rule is, and I'm going to share my screen here. That way you guys can. So, this section of the regulations and the Immigration Act really states that, hey, if you want to apply for asylum, you need to do it within 1 year of entering the US. Okay? Now, don't get confused between refugees and asylees. So, the asylees are people who show up at the port of entry or um, or have been or are already in the United States. So we're really talking about those people in the US or just showed up to the border. Refugees, they've already pre-approved before they come to the US. So it's, when they come in, they have everything set up for them, or not everything set up, but it's all organized for them to get into homes and stuff like that. And they don't have to prove anything. After 1 year, they get a green card and they can proceed and enjoy life here in the US away from the persecution and problems that they left behind. Now, under the current law for everybody else, though, if you are filing asylum, you need to do it within 1 year that you enter the US. So, what happens if you don't? Well, there's an exception, but you have to show extraordinary circumstances, or in some cases, a change circumstance. Okay? So, what that means is, for example, if you are coming from Afghanistan and the process has been slow and you just now file and it's been more than 1 year, or let's say you've been here for several years and you now file. Well, it's been more than 1 year. Under the rule, you wouldn't be able to qualify for that. But now what they're going to do is they're going to treat people who are paroled in as extraordinary circumstance. And so this should help a lot of people it should help a lot of people. Now, one thing is to change a rule. Application is something our government has a lot of work and really needs to work on. But if you're from Afghanistan, and I would argue from other countries that are paroled into the United States, if it's beyond 1 year, you still have a chance to file. Take advantage of that. The world's pretty messed up out there, so you need to make sure you fight for your rights. And this is just one of the additional ones the USCIS has made known to everyone. So if you have an attorney that's working on your case and you're from Afghanistan, highlight this about treating parolees as an extraordinary circumstance to file that asylum application and stand in line. Now, remember, we talked about asylum applications for people from Afghanistan, and they're supposed to expedite those and make those a lot quicker. So if you are going through the process and they expedite that, let us know in the comments about how long it took. Are they really expediting? Do you feel that they're moving quickly? And remember, quickly for the government may be anywhere from 6 to 12 months, but are they moving quickly? Are they making that difference? Okay. And let's see, that's about asylum. If you guys have immigration questions, go ahead, put those in the comments below. And we'd be happy to address those and help you guys out. Last topic for today, we're going to switch to H-1Bs. Hold on just a moment. Switch it up here. Now, here at Ray Law International, we do a lot of employment-based immigration, meaning we work with employers to get various types of visas to bring in professionals, managers, any type workers, agriculture, also just various industries, whether that's golf courses, landscaping. We really are working with employers to do whatever we can to bring in key employees to help, keep their business running. And we were talking about how everyone's week was going. I just got back from New Orleans and an event that was going on down there. And I had a chance to speak with a lot of people. And, a lot of HR people and business owners, and they are still struggling to find the workers they need to move their business forward. The business opportunities out there, the business is there. People, it just recently, people are still spending. People are still going on vacation, even with inflation and high gas prices. So we need, you need people to work and support the industries out there, everything from food to, not enough not enough lifeguards here in the U.S., to, support what we need during the summer. So I was speaking with these employers, and they are still struggling to get the number and the level of employees they need in order to do the business that they would like to and to grow and expand. And so it's really tough out there. So one of the visa categories that everyone wants, is sort of coveted, is the H-1B visa. The H-1B visa is for professionals, such as lawyers, doctors, engineers. Um, it can be economists, accountants, marketing analysts. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, whatever position may require a 4-year degree is what's going to qualify for that. So if you're not familiar with the H-1B cap cases, basically, there's a lottery. 85,000 are issued each year. 65,000 generally, and 20,000 for advanced degrees. Now, there is a carve out for a few couple countries out there, but we normally don't talk about that. We usually just lump them all together and call it 85,000 at the end of the day. Now, the lottery took place in March. The selection has been completed, and those who have been selected in the first group have been notified. Now, why are we talking about H-1B cap cases here in the middle of June if it took place back in March and everyone should have filed back in April? Well, not all of the employers filed immediately. Not just because you're selected doesn't mean you're ready to go immediately on April 1st. So if you were selected through the H-1B cap this year, you need to make sure that you get and you were selected in the first group, you need to make sure you get your H-1B in by June 30th. No exceptions, folks. If you don't get it in, it's gone. You missed out on an opportunity, and some would say a lifetime opportunity, because, the chances of being selected is in the ballpark of 20 to 30%. Is what I would suggest the numbers are. It may even be lower as the demand for positions and the needs grows higher and higher. So who out there, I mean, if you have an H-1B and you filed, that's great. We filed most of ours. We do have a few companies that are getting information to us to file. There's always the last minute, it kind of, the end of June, it's always a little stressful to make sure we get that last one in because people wait till the last minute. But unfortunately, this year it's the cutoff of June 30th. Now, you say, well, okay, H-1Bs are over, done for the year. Not quite. What happens? Our government always surprises us, and sometime in July or August, we get another, hey, we don't have enough people selected for the H-1B cap. USCIS traditionally takes more cases than necessary in order to meet the 85,000 quota that they've set. But sometimes they're still even short from that, meaning maybe a lot of people just don't respond. Maybe they missed the June 30th cutoff date and they lose that opportunity, whatever the excuse is. Or, in some cases, people are filing at 2 or 3 or 4 different employers and they only need one of them. So that leaves 3 open again. So whatever the reason is, they're going to open it up again and select more candidates. And you'll notice that if you filed or registered, you didn't get a denial letter. You don't get that until next year. Can you imagine waiting a whole year before knowing whether you were actually selected or not from the H-1B cap lottery? The system needs to change, obviously. But so if you didn't get selected, everyone asks, well, what's going to happen? We got to wait till July or August, not far off. Hopefully they'll do another selection. They'll draw a handful, a few more people. Hopefully you get selected, and then you have another 90 days in order to get that H-1B filed right away. Now, if you all remember, if you didn't know, they actually had a third drawing. They were even short yet again. I don't know what's going on, why they're so short, but um, they were. And so they had to even do a third one. So don't rule it out even after the second one, whether the USCIS will do a third and final drawing as they did in the prior year. So does anyone know of people who went through the H-1B process and got selected? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know how it's going. And, our cases are going very smoothly. Our clients, it's always a little struggle to get the documents timely, and we encourage them. But, people are busy. They've got life, they got families, vacations to go on. And even though this should be a priority, sometimes there's a lot of delays. Also, it may be volume. If you're, filing 100, 200, 300 H-1Bs, it's just, you need to get it to the attorney or law firm early so that they can process and get through those quickly. So, any questions out there? Anybody? Let me know in the comments below. Feel free, even after this video is done, you can throw comments or questions in the comment sections, and we check those regularly. So, feel free to do that. Or, our information, if you just want to talk to us directly instead of going through social media, email us or call us at the number listed below. We're going to be here to take care of you. Now, there's a lot of interesting immigration news out there. We're going to touch on more on our next Real Talk. Just make sure you subscribe. Remember, we're still trying to hit that 5,000 subscriber mark. We're inching up there. We're getting a lot more people on board, so our message is getting out there. But we need more. So encourage one another, encourage your friends, share this with other people once we put that notice out there of the live stream. Oh, I almost forgot, guys. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have our monthly immigration webinar. This one is an hour long, and it's a lot of fun. I think you guys are really going to love this one. And it's more of the staff. It's not just me or, going over recent issues, but it's talking about more details about practical stuff that you're going to face. So you can catch us tomorrow morning, and we'll be live stream for that. Lauren, one of our attorneys, and one of our legal assistants, Saki, will also be answering questions, and he's just battling immigration out there. So I'm excited about what's coming as far as immigration, as we see improvements in processing times. Let's see, what else? Any questions? Anyone in the audience have a question? We just got a couple more minutes out there. And next time we're going to have some more naturalization questions. I want to see a little bit more activity of you guys out there. And, make sure that you guys really know your civics test. And, the foreign nationals go through this and it's like, wait, Americans don't even know this stuff, or they're not up to speed on it. So, why do I have to learn it? But it's very important. And a lot of these principles we learned in school, we just don't remember it, or just, we practice it. We learn it early on in civics or government, but we may not always know it immediately. So also this week, look for new videos coming out. We've got new videos that we put together, more informative videos. If you want to dive into any topic on immigration, check out our YouTube channel. Over 300 videos we put together for you on pretty much all the topics out there. Now, in the future, we plan on diving into more details on the H-2Bs, H-2As, and even the H-1Bs to give you a little bit more details of what those processes look like. It's a little bit more technical. A lot of people just say, hey, I just need the visa. I don't need to know all the details of how it works in the job postings and who gets notified and how long it takes. It's just, hey, when can I get that visa? So let us know what you guys are interested in. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We'll see you hopefully in a couple days, or join us tomorrow morning. We're going to be right here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow.